I, Ms. Diana Fernandez, on behalf of CSI Student Chapter, welcome you all. Yes, this is indeed the very first event organized by CSI Student Chapter of St. John College of Engineering and Management for the academic year 2020 and 21, and we couldn't be more thrilled. But all of that aside for a moment, and let's invoke God's presence among us. So now we shall play our college anthem, the Universal Prayer for Peace, requesting everyone to kindly be attentive as the college anthem is being played.
Make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me bring love. Where there is injury, your pardon, and where there's doubt, true faith in you. Make me an instrument of your peace. Where there's discouragement, let me bring hope. Where there is darkness, let me bring light. And where there's sadness, let me bring joy. Make me an instrument of your peace. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned. It is in giving that we do receive. And it's in dying we are born to life.
Thank you, everyone. Any event that we organize in our college, whether in real life or online, cannot go without the wise words conveyed by our dignitaries. So, first, I'll request our dear principal, Dr. G.V. Mulgun, sir, to convey a few words.
Uh, Good morning to one and all. The resource person of 3 days workshop on data mining, Kranti ma'am. Head of the Department of Computer Science, Dr. Kokle, Dr. Anita of IT Department, and the coordinator of this particular workshop, Professor Mrs. Brinjal Rodriguez, faculty members of St. John's, and my dear student friends. I'm very happy to note that though you are busy in your submissions and other things, you are taking out the time in this particular peak hours, and you are having an urge and desire and passion to learn the hot and the upcoming field, which is none other than the data mining. In fact, this particular data mining is emerging almost since a decade, and I would like to share here that the data was there, which was in the raw form, and bringing it in the useful form, I can take it as nothing but the mining of the data. In fact, 5 years back, the Hadoop was there. Now, many other tools such as R, then Tableau, so on and so forth are coming up and making an impact in the field of computer science as well as information technology. Here at this particular juncture, I'd like to bring to kind notice of my all dear student friends that yesterday I received a call from one of my friend whose son is studying in BTech Metallurgy in IIT Roorkee. He was so happy and he telephoned and he conveyed me that, my dear friend, my son has been selected in one of the French company with a 19 lakh package, and his field, he is going to go as a data scientist or data engineer. What I would like to emphasize out here is it is not restricted to only circuit branches, and it is the need of the hour, and will going to stay for another at least 2 to 3 decades. That's what the IT professional predict. Hence, everybody should come forward and its impact will be there. Therefore, you should upgrade and update the skills which are need of the hour. I hope this particular 3 days an insight into data mining will going to give you some exposure. And my request to the resource person is that let us have a follow-up workshop also, wherein you can test what is understanding. Let it not given a mere exposure. Let us try to test and let us try to measure the outcome of this particular workshop. Sincerely from the St. John family, my thanks to the resource person who is taking out her busy time in spite of the so many submissions and other works which are shouldered on from her institutes. And let us make it as a practice. Let us try to have a joint efforts, and our whatever expertise that will be ready to share, and your expertise will be looking forward, not only restricting to only 1 year or so. Let us make it as a good practice and try to give our best to the students community. I once again thank everyone and wish all the best to everyone. Thank you. Over to Diana.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, I would like to call upon the HOD of Computer Department, Dr. Rahul Khokle, to address a few words.
Good morning to all of you. Resource person of today's program, Dr. Kranti Ghag Madam, our beloved principal, Dr. G.B. Mulgund sir, HOD of IT Department, Anita Chaudhary Madam, faculty in charges, faculty coordinators for CSI, Manali Patekar Madam and Binzel Ma'am, all the office bearers of CSI student chapters, and all the student participants. So at the outset, I welcome you all to the inauguration of this 3-day workshop on data mining for beginners. Dear students, dear friends, we are living in the world of data. Okay, today's world is data-driven world. Data is increasing with very high velocity, high speed, and it is taking enormous volume and with various diversity. So, because of the advent in the technology and internet and the social media networks, data is increasing continuously today. So, we are having enormous data, huge amount of data, but unless and until this data is interpreted, unless and until we extract the meaningful information and knowledge from the data is absolutely useless. So the process of extracting the information and knowledge from the data is called data mining. It is also called knowledge discovery from the data. Data mining helps in decision making, and it also helps in business intelligence. Even today, it became the backbone of business intelligence. Data mining applications are widely used in direct marketing, health industry, e-commerce, CRM, customer relationship management, MFCG industry, telecom industry, and finance industry. So you will see that data mining is used in various industries. It has a lot of applications. So today it is one of the important area. You are fortunate to have a very knowledgeable resource person. She will impart her knowledge on data mining, and even she is going to give you hands-on sessions on data mining. So I hope that at the end of this 3 days workshop, the students will definitely learn so many things. They will get the knowledge of data mining, and the practical aspects of data mining also will be clear to all the participants. So I wish all the best for this 3 days workshop. Thank you very much, Madam Gandhi ma'am, for accepting our invitation for this 3 days workshop. I am also thankful to our beloved principal sir and our management to give us permission to conduct this 3 days workshop. So thank you so much. Over to Dinah.
Thank you, sir, for addressing us. Now, I would request the faculty member of CSI Student Chapter, Mrs. Manali Patekar ma'am, to introduce us to our today's resource person.
Okay, thank you, Dina. So good morning, everyone. So it's a great honor for me to introduce and welcome our today's speaker, Dr. Kranti Vittal Ghag ma'am, who will be delivering a session on data mining for beginners. So before ma'am starts a session, I would like to introduce Dr. Kranti Ghag ma'am. She is currently working as assistant professor in the IT department, Shahan Anchor Kachi Engineering College. She is an in charge of intellectual property rights cell, research committee member, research cell SAKEK. She is a convener MHRD's Institution Innovation Council SAKEK 1.0. Ma'am has total 16 years of experience, and she has been teaching the data mining for more than 12 years. Ma'am has always been motivating the students to participate in various data mining competitions. Ma'am has also guided various data mining projects. She is in charge of AI Deep Learning SIG under SAKEK Research Cell. She has advised project of social benefits. Ma'am has 4 copyrights registered. Ma'am's areas of interest are sentiment analysis and data mining. Along with this, ma'am has been also rewarded or awarded with the following. Smart India Hackathon 2018. She is one among the 2 mentors of the SAKEK team, Tech Geeks, that won special second runner prize by Ministry of Sikkim. Ma'am is also awarded with CSI Mumbai Tech Next India 2019 Best Faculty of the Year teaching contemporary subject courses applied for data mining. She has then the next award is Data Mining Cup 2019 Berlin, Germany, 50th international rank and first national rank. Data Mining Cup 2020 Brussels, Germany mentored the group that stood 50th internationally and first in India. Next is Smart India Hackathon 2020, one among 2 mentors of the SAKEK team, Code 4C @use, that won second prize for the problem statement by ISRO. Along with this, ma'am has also delivered various sessions on sentiment analysis using Python, data mining tool Veka, sentiment analysis using R, recurrent neural network topic at workshop on diving into deep learning, machine learning workshop, relational modeling redesigning, hands-on on text parsing and classification, copyrights and patent filing process in the various colleges. So we are indeed fortunate enough to have Dr. Kranti Ghag ma'am amongst us. So I welcome you ma'am on behalf of the CSI SGCM student chapter. So over to you, Dinah.
Thank you, Manali ma'am. And once again, we all welcome you, Dr. Kranti Ghag ma'am. Just a little heads up, for everyone who will be having queries towards the end of the session, there will be a Q&A round after the session. So shoot up your questions in the chat box. Also, the participants who are participating via YouTube, you all are free to comment your doubts in the comment section. Also, a feedback link shall be provided. So make sure that you all fill it with your honest reviews. There will also be a quiz regarding today's session in the feedback form. Take a note to attempt that too. It is mandatory. Thank you. Okay, so now that everything is said and done, no more delay. Let's begin now. Dr. Kranti ma'am, over to you.
Good morning, everyone. Respected Principal Sir, the HODs who are here in the meeting and the HODs of the college, the faculty coordinators, other faculties, students team, good morning to one and all. Before we move ahead, as the Principal Sir you mentioned, it is really important for the outcome of an event to be measured. Otherwise, we just go on doing the events and we don't know how or how much it will be beneficial to us. So I will have with the coordination team, I'll have a slight change. Instead of having some other event to measure the outcome, I'm sure by end of tomorrow evening, our students and the participants, maybe from other colleges from the same college, will be able to write their own ML pipeline. Now, writing a detailed pipeline might take days together, might take months together. But once a basic pipeline is ready, it's all around playing with that set of pipeline and that set of code. So we would have a small activity or a quiz kind of. It's actually not a quiz with a MCQ format. It will be a quiz where we give a real time problem case study, and the people will do their work and submit back the work, and we'll evaluate it, and the performance can be measured. This is one of the ways. Other way, of course, you're doing feedback where you can do the evaluation. Also, sir, both of you have laid a very nice ground already for me, HOD sir and principal sir, where you have highlighted the importance of data mining. Yeah, it is really an important topic. Almost every company, almost every industry, every organization, be it small scale, be it medium scale, large scale, are going online, and they want their performance to be seen. How is their products doing? How are the competitors' product doing? What are the reviews written for their product? What are the products that are popular in the market? Which time which product would be popular? If these things are known well in advance, the industry can accommodate accordingly. The decisions can be taken accordingly. And the foundation of it, I'll not say data mining is everything. Students, data mining is a beginning. You will have much more things beyond that, and much more things what we do in this 3 days workshop. But I'm very sure this 3 days workshop will lay a foundation which will be necessary to take the things ahead, and we'll do it actually with the hands on. Also, Manali ma'am, thank you for a generous introduction. I would like to add to it that yeah, among our when our college started, the PG branch started, Manali madam was my first student, and we had a really brainstorming research work done at that time in sentiment analysis. And I never gave her everything in the platter. I asked her to come up with ideas. We discussed it. We used to have a lot of brainstorming sessions, and then came out a nice work and a research paper that she has done with. I'm really proud to have students like this. Yeah. So coming to the session, I will share my screen. And before that, 1 minute. Yeah, so I hope the screen is visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. So I will not go for a PPT. I have whatever I want to explain is there in my Colab notebook itself. Now, Colab is an environment where we'll do actual hands-on, and I'll share this Colab notebook with all the participants. I request organizers if there are some people attend. I think not yet needed on YouTube because yeah, but you can share if needed you can share this link on YouTube also. So I'm just sharing this. Okay, Diana ma'am, I have a request. You said that the participants will not be able to chat right now, but this will be a very interactive session. So can we change this to a chat available right now also?
Okay, ma'am. We'll tell that Miss to open this now.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, we'll tell. Yeah.
Yeah, the moment this chat is open, I'll share the link here where you can open this notebook. The same notebook will be accessible to you just like you open a shared file. You will save it in your drive and then we'll continue with the work. Till then, I will just start with and we can have a glimpse of what we are going to do. So, as sir already mentioned, we were earlier having manual systems where we had ledgers and manuals, registers, and all those things where data was recorded. Okay, take a very simple system with the employee attendance system. People used to go and sign actually in the register. We still follow it some places. It's not totally ISO, but many of the devices, many of the places, many of the organizations, we are now having either a smart card or most of the organizations have now switched to biometric. With smart card also people observed that people used to just give the card to someone else. I'm leaving now, you punch my card in the evening. So people have moved to biometric where there are thumb scans or either ID scan. Okay? And even take an example of a shopping chain. Let us say a big bazaar kind of scenario. Okay. These are there at all over different places. Earlier also such type of supermarkets were there at different places. Each of them managed at their individual level and then the data used to be aggregated somewhere at the management to take the decision. It was really a tough time at that point of time. But now all these databases are centralized. So they have their data coming to a central server and when just imagine this scenario itself, big bazaar data set. Every item that is purchased, every transaction that is being made, every item that is made available to the customers is recorded. When such a large data is available, what do we do? After 5 years, do we just throw out that data? No. That data can be very nicely used for finding out what would be the possible products which I need to sell, which what are the products which are popular, what are the products which are not doing good. Let me give you some examples. Have you seen the examples like Wednesday Bazaar? When there was nothing like a concept as Wednesday Bazaar. Okay, uh, typically people used to market on weekends, Saturday and Sunday. But this concept came out because there was a transaction pattern observed. There are very less, hardly any transactions done on Wednesday. The resources which are there in all these malls or all these stores are wasted. The human resources are being paid unnecessarily when there are very less people who are buying the product. So concepts like Wednesday Bazaar have come. The happy hours are not the happy hours for the sellers. Let me tell you, what are happy hours typically? 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. This is a time when the orders are the lowest, when the resources are being wasted. So they come up with ideas like this. So they come up with, identifying that you have transactions that are being happening. People are purchasing for years together. From years together data, you try to find out, okay, these are the hours where the people are hardly buying anything. That is data mining. And from that, then you decide, I'll make these hours as a marketing scheme where I call them as happy hours. And that is called as business intelligence. So based on the pattern that is being observed, you're trying to take a decision. That is business intelligence. Okay. Before I give you some more examples or before we move ahead, ma'am, is the chat made available or should I like continue for some more time?
Yes, ma'am, chat is open. It
Chat
is
is open.
available.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Straight with you, I have the collab notebook shared with you. All that you're supposed to do is click this. Okay. When you click this collab notebook link, you will come to this point. Now, this is shared to you in just a view mode. I'll show you it's shared to you in a view mode. You cannot directly edit in this. Okay. Can view. So, what will you do is you'll go into file and you will say save a copy in drive. So it will save this copy to your drive. It will if this is already not there, it will create a folder as Google Colab notebooks and this copy will be created. Okay, I created one copy because many times I see that people sometimes attempt to tamper with the speaker's notebook. All the privileges are not there. Someone if cracks my password will be able to access. So I created one copy. So if you have that copy, then that copy will open up. So I'll just do it simultaneously for you. Save a copy in Drive. So when I'm creating this copy, I'll have it opened over here. Once this new notebook is available, you can just close the old. The link which I showed that can be closed. You can work on this copy of day one. Now this is in your drive because if you just try to execute on this, it might not work. Or the moment I stop sharing, your access will be lost. Now this will be in your drive itself, Collab Notebook. Can I get some acknowledgement on chat that you were able to access it? Okay. Yeah, Ajay says done. Cool. We have active audience here. Cool, cool. Very good. Can I get some more acknowledgement so that I know these? If and at any point of time, if you're not able to do, please stop me. I'll tell you, and then we can go ahead. Excellent. Quite a number of you are able to download it. Okay. Now what you have to do is because I'll be explaining you some concepts, but downloading of data takes some time. So just below the banner, below the first banner, I've shared a link. Okay, I'll make it slightly larger. Is it visible now? Download the Data Mining Cup 2019 dataset. So you'll just press Control and click on that link. So this is a competition where we have been participating for the last 2 times. We have a good success, I can say, at the national level. I'll just correct slightly. This year we were second in India and 45th internationally. By mistake, I might have. And last year we were first in India and 50th internationally. The main reason for sharing this task with you is what I want you all to do is subscribe for this competition. I'll show you at the end how to subscribe. So whenever this competition is announced, you will get a notification. Everyone here, I want you to participate in this competition. When I see the winners list, I see a lot of different countries, but I don't see India standing there. Let's work together. Let's come up. Let's come up with something where we have India standing over there. It'll be a proud moment. Okay. Now, after clicking on this link, this is the data that needs to be downloaded. That is DMC 2019 task. You can just click on this and say download. I have already downloaded it. It's there with me. That is, you will have a folder. You will get a zip file like this, DMC 2019. You just unzip it, and your data will be here in this. You will get files like this. Just start with it and quickly acknowledge me saying started. It will take some time to download, but just quickly acknowledge me in chat saying started so that I know that there is no problem downloading. Okay, Samir, did you get process, or do you want me to quickly repeat it? Ma'am has already shared it here. Okay, started. Ajay, you're eligible for fastest finger first in KBC. Two answers quickly. I've got a reply from Ajay. Okay, sir. Deepak has downloaded also. Great. Okay, I'll quickly repeat it. So I have this is a link which is shared in the chat. Just click on this link. It will open you this notebook. Okay, I'm going a bit slow that you do it simultaneously. Click on the link. It will open you this notebook. Go in File and say Save a copy in Drive. When you save a copy in Drive, the same notebook will open in a new tab, but it is your notebook. What you have opened right now is my notebook. It will also be available to you in your Drive in a folder like this collab notebooks, and it will be available in that folder. Okay. And then we can work on that. So this was about opening the notebook. Then is just below the banner. Okay, till this are you done? Just give me an acknowledgement. Till this are you done opening a notebook, Jignesh? Probably doing so. And even if you're not able to like match up the pace and somewhere we have to go ahead, don't worry. After the session, I'll help you out getting through. Don't worry at all. So once this notebook is downloaded, you can press Control on your keyboard. That will highlight this link and click on this link. This is a link to Data Mining Cup. Okay, this is the international competition of 2019. I'm taking this 2019 because it was a task which is there, which is a problem most of the time. 2020 task was slightly different, which is not so popular. Means no, it's not about popular, but it's based on the problem. So major problems are solved using classification in data mining. So that is why I'm taking a classification task. And you have to click on data mining 2019 task. When you click on this, it will download a folder for you, that is data mining 2019 task, a zip file. I unzip it, you get it like this. All the train file, test. Might be this test Excel is not there because I created this. You will have 4 files in it. Okay, till the time the downloading is happening for everyone, I'll just continue ahead in our work. So let us come to see what is data mining. Okay. So you have this diagram. If you are in T or B, you have already, probably B students, you have already studied it. It's the knowledge discovery process, or what we popularly also called as, you will not, it's not nowhere given as word to word mapping, but most of the people, when you see agree, you will see agree, it is called as data mining pipeline, or this is the task we typically do. I'll try to explain this with an example quickly, and when we solve our problem, I'll show you, okay, this is the part that we have done, this is the part that we have done. Okay. Take the same example, big bazaars. Okay. So they have their stores at many different places, they have their local databases. Every transaction is recorded, what was the timestamp, if there is a customer who has a card, his ID, and all those, not the credit card ID and all debit card ID, but they have their own cards, membership cards. So if the membership is there, they get the details of the person right from, and that is why they promote memberships, because they want to identify the patterns, who is doing what. Okay. So these are the databases which are there at different places. Now, from these databases, you want to find out what could be done, what would be a helpful thing. So you bring out to a central place which is called as data warehouse. Now, the processing capacity, excuse me, student, just a minute. Yeah. Now, the processing capacity of the systems have increased so much that sometimes your work happens in a single laptop. You don't even need a very large warehouse or a very large system. Yeah, but systems like, take an example of the warehouse of a geo calling system. So they track, most of the telecommunication companies track your pattern. What time are you active? Which type of data do you use? Which type of calls? How much calls? So they have warehouses, really huge warehouses. Okay. From the data also, they don't send everything to warehouse. They send a selected task to the data, selected needed data to the warehouse, and from that also they select what is needed. Okay, so this is the phase of data integration, bringing from different places to one place. Take an example, although we don't have theaters right now working, but take an example of Cinemax. Data local databases at different place. There will be one server where server data warehouse where they bring the data, and then they select only the data which is needed for mining, that is relevant data. Now, what is this? I'll tell you. We'll come to this in our example actually. We actually perform the data mining. So, what is our workshop? Is one task in this entire ADD process, knowledge and discovery. And then you will get this patterns which are interesting. And from that patterns, you try to identify what is to be done, and that is knowledge. Okay, I give you an example. Like they identified the pattern. There were no transactions on Wednesday, so their knowledge is there are hardly any transactions on Wednesday. Something has to be done for Wednesday, and then the decision is beyond knowledge is also a decision making thing. So decision was make it as a Wednesday bazaar. Okay, just moving ahead. Now we have seen what all is the data mining a step of, but we also need to see, and this diagram is with the reference from a very popular book, Data Mining Concepts by Han Camber. This is like a Bible for me. This has almost everything for data mining. If you say I call this as Bible of data mining. So going to data mining steps. I purposely gave a link. I did not include the figure because I respect the copyrights of this person. This diagram which is there is copyrighted, so I cannot directly include in my presentation without the permission. So I gave the link. You can click on the link and you can see, go to the website and see the steps. Okay. So typical steps are: define the problem, identify the required data, prepare and pre-process, model the data, train and test, and verify and deploy. If I try to explain you each of this, it will be Greek and Latin right now. So instead of explaining each of this, we will actually do, and we'll come to this and I'll explain you what is this. Okay. So I'm trying to do this, we are trying to do this with the live case study of Data Mining Cup 2019. Okay. So Data Mining Cup 2019, if you have downloaded the data, might be you have seen you might have opened those files which are there, PDF files. If you have fine, if you have not opened, still fine. So I'm trying to explain you what was the system about. So it is about self-checkout kiosks. Okay. So typically in malls, it's very popular in European countries. It will slowly come to India also. They have this system where a person can scan instead of waiting in the queue where one of the employees scanning the products and giving the bill to you. You yourself can scan the products over here, put it into your bag. You will see the bills over here and you can pay also using this payment module. Okay. So these types of kiosks are available. An example like this. Okay. There's also a video I had kept into this. If you self checkout kiosk. So you can very quickly see the video to understand what the scenario is. Is it visible and audible?
Yes, ma'am. No, audio is not available of video.
Okay, don't worry about audio. Audio is just the music going at the background. So let us not worry. Just
Okay.
understand the process. So this female is scanning by the scan code. If you observe, it's build over here. The next second product is build. The third product is build. and then you can pay using card or cash. Okay, so the system, can I get some acknowledgement that yours is the system clear to you or any doubt in the system self kiosk? Although we don't have such scenarios in India right now, very few places we have. Okay, great. But this will slowly come because this is, with least human intervention, the products are being sold. Okay, great. So now this case study is related to this online kiosk vending machines, okay, billing machines, sorry, not vending machines, billing machines. Okay. These are the attributes of the data that is generated when the transaction is being done. Okay, when this transaction is being done, what is the data that is being generated? One thing you have is related to all the products that are being purchased. Since the person might have a membership, so if the person has a membership, enters his number, you get the details of the person also who is purchasing this product. Along with this, there is some metadata that is related to this transaction. Okay. Now, what is this metadata? I'm just keeping the screen like this, or let us go one by one. Okay, some metadata that is generated every time. So if if a customer is being visiting this shop for quite number of times, they might record a trust level for this person, where the trust level ranging 1 to 6 indicates that 1 is the lowest level of trust, 6 is the highest level of trust. Okay. I'll do one thing, I'll just stop my video so that we can have, yeah, so that we can focus, the bandwidth could be utilized nicely. Yeah. Then you have total scan time in seconds. So what was the total time for the person to scan all the products? That is total scan time. Students, when we do data mining, there are typically people who spend days or weeks just understanding the data. First and the most important thing is understand your data very carefully, because see, I have given you this notebook. It has a lot of steps. Okay, it has steps. We can just go on executing, but it will make no sense if you don't understand what is to be done with your data or how it is to be treated. So, very important thing is understanding it. So the first characteristics is total time it takes to scan the data. Next is the grand total, the total of the product scanned. Okay, so grand total. So 5 products were scanned. Six in the example, there were 3 products that were scanned. Line item voids, the number of voided scans. So the scans that were not made properly. Okay. Or rather, was there an attempt to, just push the product without scanning it, and scans without registration? Now, so number of attempts to activate the scanner without actually scanning anything. Now understand the difference between these two attributes. Here, as good as the barcode or the QR code, whatever the product might have, was visible to the scanner, but it couldn't correctly identify it. That is line item void. This might go into a genuine case. But this is like keep the barcode in the opposite side of the scanner, as good as I'm pretending the other person who are there around that I'm scanning the product, but I'm actually not scanning the product. Next is quantity modification. So when you buy, say, 5 packs of biscuit, you scan one, you have a facility of, instead of scanning each one, you just increase the quantity to 5. Okay. So do you have this facility? Then scan line items per second. So average number of scanned products per second. How many products were scanned in 1 second? This will be simply a division of total products by total time. Okay. Value per second. That will be the total cost, that is the total bill divided by the total time. Both the attributes are there in your data. line item voids per position, average number of item voids per total number of all scanned and not cancelled products. So they were scanned but they were not cancelled and it was void. Okay, so this is line item per void. So this is the metadata about the transaction, about the scan that is happening. Data is the actual data like the products ka name, their price, their quantity, the membership details. That's data. So this is the metadata. Okay. Now this you have for years together. Let us say this shop has collected the data for years together, and on the basis of looking at camera or looking at the observation from the staff members, they have already said each of this transaction, was it a fraud transaction or was it a genuine transaction. Okay. Let me quickly show you the notebook. You might have opened it by now, but let me just show it to you. So you have this, I have put it in Excel format. I'll also, okay, better way, I'll show you how to put it in Excel format. So I'll say open. You get a data, everything is in one column, one like it's single column. So you need to first separate it out. Click on a column, go in data, just select the first column, okay? Okay, before I come to this, are you with me? Are you able to open the Excel? Just give me an acknowledgement. You're able to open the Excel. That is the train file. The file name is train. Is your data downloaded? Are you able to open? Okay, Deepak is able to. Okay, Ritika, Gulshan, Shubham, Saloni, Ajay, Sushant, Kartik, good. Wait a lot of you. If it is taking time to download the Excel, it depends on your network speed. So if it is still taking the time to download the data, fair enough, you can have a look at my screen and you can do it later. Of course, this is not needed for our mining thing, but it is needed to understand what the data is. Okay, so I'm coming back to the Excel file. This typically the format you will get the data in. Here you see the separator character. Okay, if you observe, is this pipe character, straight line. Some cases it will be a comma. So that is what you call it as CSV, comma separated value. But it allows you to store the data with separator characters such as pipe, separator characters such as tab. So that is also called as TSV, tab separated values. Okay. Now when you have this, what will we do is we will select the first column. There's nothing in second column. Second column is empty, third column is empty. The data is there only in one column. So you want to now put it into different columns. So you select this, you go into data, you go into text to columns. I'm purposely going slow because I know you're attempting to do it simultaneously with me. So I selected the column into data. Into data, there is an option as text to columns. It may vary slightly depending on the Microsoft Office version that we have. Fair enough, even if you're not able to do this, just have a look at this. So once you have this at some steps over here, you have to specify how it is delimited. So in our case, see, these are the options by which the data might be delimited in CSV, semicolon, comma, space or other. So in our, see right now also you're seeing it just as one, like it's there in one cell. So now I'll change the delimiter. I go into others and I'll specify this pipe character by specifying it over here. See, the data has changed. Now you can see it in columns. Okay, this pipe character is just along with your slash. Okay, just next to curly braces, along with shift, you can use this pipe character, and then you can say next. So you get all these data. You can change the formats. Right now I'm not going into changing the formats, and you can say finish. So now I can see the same data in column format, each of them in a column format. Okay, these are the same attributes: trust level, the value ranging from 0 to 6, time total scan time in seconds. So the first transaction, what does this row means? Someone who purchased some products, that person's trust level is 5. He or she took 1054 time seconds, okay, 1000 seconds to complete the scan. The purchase total was 54.7, this might be dollars, and there were 7 voids. So the person attempted to scan, but it didn't get scanned properly. There were 0 scans without registration. So ऐसा कुछ नहीं था कि there was no barcode visible to the scanner. Quantity modifications was done 3 times, and then scanned line items per second, value per second, item voids per second, and the fraud value. The fraud is this transaction was not a fraudulent transaction. So you have in these types of database, there will be typically the data set will be such that the frauds will be less because it's a real scenario. Now the frauds are less, but non-fraud transactions will be more. Okay, so trust level already is low. So you can see the direct correlation between trust level and fraud, right? The trust level is low, the fraud is happening. Time. Voids were C11, scans without registration were 5. Okay. This typically looks like a non-normal pattern. Let us try to have something more. See, now here is slightly different. The trust level is 5, but scans without registration were 10. Sorry. No, not that one. This one. Trust level is 2 again. So again, this is more correlated to fraud. So why do this people wanted this to happen? Because if they can identify the fraud is happening there itself, it's easy for them. Otherwise, they have to bear the losses. So while the transactions are being done, if someone is having typically, having scans without registrations many times, there itself they can keep a watch on that person, whether the person is attempting to do some fraudulent, or they can quickly see the video of that person which is being recorded. Okay. So if you want to save this, you can save as, but save it as a different file. Don't overwrite the existing file. So save as a different file. So that is why I had saved that file as test Excel. Okay. Sorry, train Excel. No, I saved it as test Excel. Okay, no. I'll just close this one without saving because I want that formatting to be in /t only. Yeah, coming back to the notebook. So it's about understanding the task. Now I don't want you to read everything. I'll just ask you to read from here. To minimize losses, the food retailer hopes to identify cases of fraud using targeted follow-up checks. The challenge here is to keep the number of checks as low as possible. Now, what is a check? If they feel that someone who's doing tampering, they will actually check whether the person is doing a fraudulent transaction or doing a genuine transaction. Now, this check, sometimes the people are really fraudulent, sometimes they are not. If the people are really fraudulent, that is okay. But if the people are not fraudulent, then that customer doesn't comes back to the store. Okay, and the customer doesn't comes back to the store. So they want to avoid this type of transactions more. They say that एक हाथ कस्टमर अगर ले भी गया ना थोड़ा सा तो चोरी का मतलब तो ठीक है, but जो innocent customer, if we ask that customer, the customer doesn't come, he tells 5 more customers that I was being tested like this, and that becomes a problem for them. The objective of participating team is to create a model to classify the scan as fraudulent or non-fraudulent. So given a new data to you like this with all these values except the last one, you have to find out whether this is fraud or no fraud. This is one of the applications of the data mining. Okay, so among many applications that were listed out by HOD sir, fraud detection is one of the popular applications in data mining. Instead of telling you all the theories, I'm attempting to go simultaneously with the practicals. There could be other examples like classifying the customers. Okay. See, after doing PhD, I get SMS like past 10th externally. What is this? They have my data, it's there, everything. I filled up their form, I filled up the educational qualification. When this data is available, the service provider should be smart enough, or there should be some intelligence thing which should not allow such type of message to be sent. Or take a very simple WhatsApp application. You get the messages, forward messages. The same forward message on the same day you will get from 10 similar types of groups. This can again be avoided, but this is not typically avoided because it's a benefit to your service providers. The message comes to you from 10 different places, and if you have not set the image downloading to off default, it automatically downloads your image and eats up the data. Okay, so they are at a benefit for this. It could be there could have been a simple application. It's a forwarded message, or there could be simple some separate tab where the forwarded messages is which I have already read. I read that message once, it goes into that separate tab. It could be classified very easily. You get email classification these days, so that's one of the popular classification problem, that is classifying spam and ham. So a genuine message in machine learning or data mining language is called as ham. Okay. So message a mail which is a spam is called a spam. It's typically words like congratulations, win, prize, and all those things. Okay. So given data, you should be able to classify it on certain criteria. A beginner's data set for most of them, like the data set which is taken in most of the trainings, is a Titanic data set. It's there on Kaggle and UCI. I'll show you these platforms also. Can I quickly show you these so that sometime if you want to experiment, if you want to download data sets, you can just go to UCI data sets. UCI data sets is a harsh, it's a very large repository of data sets. You get lots and lots of data set. You can download it from here. Another very popular platform is Kaggle. Okay. Now, the advantage of Kaggle is along with the data sets, you also get a code which was shared by someone, which was someone who had written for this. So California traffic collision data for SWIRTS. I don't. There might be some system which is monitoring that. But along with this, you get something called as notebooks, where whatever was the work done by earlier people is shared over here. Okay. I can very quickly take credit card data set, credit card fraud detection data set. So here there are 2000, nearly 3000 notebooks. Okay, you can filter them. You can select the language that you want. I want it on Python. I want majorly working on data. I want competition types of things. I don't want to use TPU and GPU. So that's it. It's done. So I see all the projects which are related to this. Okay. Yeah. So coming back to our notebook. Yeah, this is what I said. If the person has actually not done fraud and is also predicted to be no fraud, is a good thing. Is a you have fine for us. The person who has done a fraud and also predicted as fraud, you get an advantage of €5. If the person has actually done the fraud, but we don't detect it as a fraud. Predicted was not a fraud. Our algorithm says that he has not done the fraud, but he's actually done the fraud. We have a penalty of minus €5. And if the person actually did if the person didn't do a fraud, that is, the fraud was not done, but our system predicted that it is a fraud, we are penalized more. So even if we have error, these two, see, no fraud, our algorithm also says there was no fraud. We wrote some algorithm which says there was no fraud. It's good. Okay, it's not a problem. There was a fraud and our algorithm says as a fraud is also good. But the other two are the wrong classification or the wrong predictions of our algorithm, which are penalized. Okay, but penalty is not the same for both. This is a fraudulent customer who got through. He was fraudulent, but our system didn't identify him. So who got through? So we are penalized. But we are penalized more if the person who had not done a fraud and we said that the person had done a fraud. So our algorithm said that the person has done a fraud is penalized more because the customer doesn't returns back to the store after this. He feels humiliated. And even he tells 4 or 5 more people that don't go. So this was the evaluation matrix. Okay, this is still more challenging. Okay. Now coming to the actual execution. Now before moving to the step 3, can I just get a quick acknowledgement? Are you there with me? Are you able to any doubt till now? Okay, my voice is breaking. Let me try to connect to headset. Till then, can I quickly get an acknowledgement? Okay, Anita is asking for the link. I'll share it again. I think it was already shared, but I'll share it again. No doubt, fair enough. Yeah. Now we are starting with the notebook, the actual hands-on part. 100. We are perfectly on time. I had this like I know the initial 15-20 minutes will be an introduction and all. Rest 40 minutes we do downloading the data and understanding it, and we had to start at well exact perfectly on time we are. So we're going ahead. Pay your attention 100% now. This in today's notebook. I have given exactly the working code. I have not changed anything. I have not kept anything. But tomorrow, I will not give the complete code. I'll give something which is missing where you'll have to type it. Okay. So that is why you have to be very attentive today. You have to see it very carefully. Now we have our data over here. Okay. Downloaded to the machine. We have to upload it to the Colab. There are different ways of doing it. This is one of the ways. The other way is you can take it through Drive, add to your Drive, and do it through Mount Drive. Okay. There are other ways other than Colab Notebook. You can do it on Anaconda. Is everyone on Colab? Is someone on some other platform? If anyone is on other platform, please let me know here quickly. But collab is see when we are doing a workshop like thing, the collab is easy. There is another tool which is Spider, which I'll show you at the end of this. But I'll show you the reason why you should use it. It also depends on your processing capacity. Okay, so this play like thing, what you see here is to execute that cell. Before that, let me show you what I've done. Whatever was created over here, can between two cells, you will see this kind of code or text. What do you want to add to this notebook? So if I want to add a text, I say text and I say hello. Let's begin. Let's go. So the text is visible to you. If I want to add a code, I'll put it from code point of view where you get this execution thing. Okay. So I'm right now deleting it. But what you see like this data loading is text. What you see like this is code. Okay. So just run this. When you run this, after you execute this, you will get this browse menu activated. It takes some time, but it will get activated. So when this browse is activated, okay, go to that path where you have downloaded the data. So that is DMC 2019, you had downloaded it as a zip file. You might have already unzipped it. If you have not, unzip it quickly and then come here. Go to the DMC 2019 and go to this file train and select it. It will take some time to upload. Let it take, fair enough. Yeah, so it's done 100% for me. Okay. When you upload this, if you click on this folder icon aside, you will see it over here. train.csv. And this is uploaded just for this instance. It will, like, next time if you close the notebook, you will not find it, you will have to upload it again. Can I get a quick acknowledgement? Is the uploading done? Or it's still happening? Is it taking time? Okay. Okay, quite a few are able to do it. Okay. Is there any problem uploading? Let me know right now. Good. So most of you are done. From my zip file, how upload, how to remove. No, see, if you get this my zip file, you have this file. Either you should have one of these installed on your system. That is, either it will be by default, or you will have to install WinZip, WinRAR, 7-zip, anything, a zip extractor. Okay. And then you can say extract here. So you will get it in a folder like this. If you are not having anything of this, more than, because I was uploading you the link, but more than better that you quickly download the WinZip. That will be faster. Yeah, okay, fine. Thank you. So from the, you will have to upload the CSV file, okay, not a zip file. So if it is uploaded successfully, you will see something like this. What is this? These are our columns which are there in the data. Typically, this shows the first row. So in our case, the first row is the columns. Okay. Now, then you can go for the next cell. Now it is like you can go executing each and every one, but please don't rush. Understand the system. I don't want you to make a code executor. I want you to make a data scientist. Okay. So go slowly. Run each cell, understand it, what it is. The next is about import pandas as PDs. Pandas is a very popular library in Python to handle the data. Now, what is this concept of library, or what is this? You have heard this word open source. Python is open source. You know, Python has a facility where people can write functions, make it available to other, where we can, these things, pandas and all, are the libraries written by someone. Yeah, is there any doubt? I could hear a unmute. You can ask if there is a doubt. You can unmute and ask, or is that by mistake? I think by mistake someone has. Divya ma'am, can you please mute yourself if it is by mistake, or if you're asking something, please do ask. Okay, thank you. Yeah. So there are many libraries like this where different people have written these functions for us. So when we are using the functions which are in this library, we are not actually writing the functions. We are just using, someone has written it for us, and that makes the life much simple. We don't keep reinventing the wheel. We use what is there and we put our efforts in the innovative things. Okay, okay, let me. This is by mistake. That was a comment by mistake. So we'll also correct the comments. Use the read windows for the file for processing. Yes. So this pandas is a library, and we are creating an object of this library as PD. This PD object, we are using this, and it has a command available as read CSV. So when you want to read a file, you'll get it as read CSV. Also, wherever you take your cursor, it shows you a little bit of help. So when you're using any function, okay, or when you're using anything, like this is a very powerful data analysis and manipulation library for Python. If I take it on read CSV, you will get a help related to this. These many parameters are available with read CSV. Although we are not using everything, we are giving only the name of the file which is to be read. We are also giving the separator. Now understand, student, this is important. this part. If your separator, in this case, we had already seen, that is why I said you should see the data. By default, the separator is comma because it is CSV, comma separator. So if the file that you've downloaded has comma as a separator and you don't specify, still it will work nicely. But in our case, we had seen the pipe was separator. So we have to specify this as parameter. And then this CSV is loaded, your data is loaded into an object called DF. Okay. So your data is loaded, this we call it as data frame. Okay. And see, it is very clearly showing which shape of 1879 comma 10. That means there are 10 columns and 1879 rows. If you quickly total out these are 10. Okay, these columns are 10. And the next command is just to see what are the first 5 records in your data. So you just execute this, you will see first 5 records. Okay. Now just like head, there is a function available as tail, which shows you last 5 records. Try df.tail. Try typing df.tail. So it was starting from 0 to 1878, that is totally 1879 records in this data set. Whatever you put in hash is a comment. Can we quickly comment this part also? I'll suggest whenever you get an opportunity, simultaneously keep typing the comment. Observe but one thing, when you did this df.tail, this data which was shown as head is lost. Now when you want multiple, it simply overwrites. Okay, when you want multiple outputs to be there, you can simply put it in a print command. So print, and I am giving a, so you see this part also and this part also. See, but the print is showing me a truncated output. It doesn't show me the entire output. So what I preferably do is, instead of having it like this, I cut this and I make this as a separate cell. But before that, I'll just remove print also. If I want to see all the things, what I do is, I add a code over here. See, between two of the cells, you just hover your mouse over here. You will get an option of adding code or test. So I click on code and I can add a code as tf.tail. So now I can see first 5 records as well as last 5 records properly. Done till here, can I get a quick acknowledgement? Why we only use CSV files? No, it's not necessary. When a data is given to you, it can be in any format. I'll show you. I'll very quickly show you the folder since you've asked this doubt. Till the time others complete with this, participated in a lot of competitions, so they give you data in any competition which was CS mining 2019 task. Okay. So this is all, I converted it to CSV. Sorry, this was not by default. They had given it in .data format. What you have here is also CSV. When it might be CSV, it might not be CSV. We have dealt with a lot of, sometimes even with TSV. This is what happens when you want to show, you don't get it exactly. Okay, probably it is in task one. Yes, this was the original data that was shared. And here you will see It is all SNR files. Now these were some sensors data. Okay. So this, if I read, it makes no sense. It doesn't no preview available. If I open with Notepad++, it gives you just some very nice application which you can keep with you. With you, it opens almost every type of file. So it shows you a lot of values which are there, but there it is separated by a comma. But the extension type is .snr. Sometimes you get extension as .data. Okay. So whatever format it is there are options available again to convert. You can read these types of things also. Instead of this read CSV, you will have an option as read table. Okay, that is for reading a text file. And then you have to specify what is the extension and what is the separator and all. A very simple thing. If you're not getting this Howard wala jo aa raha tha na, wo bhi nahi aa raha hai na, you can simply select this read CSV. I'll just close some of these tabs and you can just search read CSV pandas, or it was already there actually. And you can go to the official documentation. Don't go to any of these ads, don't go to other places. Go to the official documentation. It will show you all the options that are there. How do you read a CSV file? What are the parameters are there? Okay. Not every parameter is compulsory. They'll also specify here what are default. So when they say default, it is not a compulsory parameter. But like file, path or buffer, this is compulsory. You have to specify which file you want to read. So likewise, it will be there. So same way like read CSV, you have an option as read table. Read table is for text. Okay. And along with this, at the end, they'll specify an example. So sometimes you can also have a look at, okay, here they've specified CSV, but you can read other types of files also. I hope that answers you, Ashwin. Separator is equal to pipe. It's for CSV files or TSV files. It's not specifically either for CSV nor for TSVs, but just the file that we have. Okay. Just the file that we have downloaded has this type of separator. I'll open this file in a notepad so that you can very easily see. Just have a look at this. The separator over here is the pipe. That is why we have specified the separator as pipe. By chance, if I miss any question, coordinators, please do the volunteering team. You can ask me, okay? Yeah. Can I get some acknowledgement for this thing done? df.head and df.tail. Okay, excellent. Deepak, Ashwin, your doubt is clear. Thank you. So, Anand, Krishnan, good. I have Ajay, Pratik, good. Yeah, so moving ahead. Now we are able to see what was our data. Now this is again one of the important parts which is there in our ML pipeline. Okay, I closed that copyrighted image which I had opened. I'll open it again quickly. Yeah, that is data mining steps. So we have seen the first part of defining the problem. That is when we discussed this entire thing. We have seen identify the required data. Now this being a competition, they have explicitly given you the data. Sometimes when it is not competition, believe me, when it is a real world data, it is in very horrible format. There's a lot of processing needed, lot of processing needed. Okay, so that is identify the needed data and pre-process the data. See, in this data which is shared to you, they didn't give you the customer name, they didn't give you age, the other details of the customer, or they didn't give you the transaction ID, they didn't give you the purchase or the product that is purchased. That would have been unnecessary data for us to detect the fraud. Okay. Uh, Sometimes it is, sometimes it is not. It depends upon the task. It depends upon the perspective also. I'll give you a very simple example. We were doing a project for Roti Bank, which was guided by Dhanashri ma'am in our college, and I was also advising the group. Roti Bank is a social initiative which collects the leftover foods and donates it to the people who need. Now they wanted to identify the potential donors. Okay, the areas where there are potential donors where they can have their setups done, the collection setups done. They did not have a data in the format they can share to us. Okay, the students very nicely had divided Mumbai map into different districts, and then they have identified the location. They have mapped everything, but how to identify the potential donors? We tried a lot getting the right data, but we couldn't. Probably they also didn't have, so that is why they couldn't share. Something at that point very immediately clicked my mind. When we were struggling for 10-15 days. After 10-15 days, it clicked my mind. Why not to use McDonald's outlets as the index for identifying the potential donors? Okay, we just tried when we were not sure whether it will be genuine or whether it will not be genuine. Okay, we found out. I'll give you an example. It's not. I'm not saying anything about the location or anything, but yeah, we found out there were three McDonald's just near Andheri station, but in entire Vikhroli there was just one McDonald's. There were some 4 to 5 McDonald's in South Mumbai. So this very nicely worked as an index for us. This was not given in real life. In real life scenarios, you will have to identify some external data like this if needed when you do your projects. If from the data set which is given to you, yeah, this will be nice. You can use it as it is. It's good for competition. But when you work in industry, you will have to work innovatively. You'll have to think from different aspects. I'll give you one more example for pre-processing. Typically, while people do text pre-processing, we have one case study on last day on sentiment analysis. That was my PhD area. That is my area of interest also. So, what typically do when people do sentiment analysis on text is they simply remove stop words. So, like is, the, of are stop words. These words which occur very frequently but don't have any specific meanings. Now, this also involves a stop word. Also involved is not. In typical English, working, the not is a stop word. In sentiment analysis, not is a word which plays a huge importance. I cannot simply remove not. So, what is to be done for every problem depends upon what its need is. Okay. So that was these are the tasks. Okay, prepare and pre-process data. Now, when you're preparing and pre-processing the data, you need to understand it what it is, and that is what we are going to do in this part. That is exploratory data analysis. First thing, display your columns. Understand which columns are there. So just what is DF? Anyone? DF? Can you write on chat? What is DF? If you remember, if you can see this, I said that this DF is something. Excellent, it's data frame. Very good, very good. So with this DF, we'll try to do, our data is there in this frame now. We'll try to do exploratory analysis on this DF. So if you observe most of the commands that we have right now will be DF dot. Okay. So first thing that we are trying to do is we do DF dot columns. So it displays us all the columns that are available. If you want to use them separately, you can store them in some other object also. So I say my data, my columns is equal to df dot this. I can print it either here or I print it in a new cell. I'll execute this cell and I go over here and simply say my calls and execute it. So you see these are the columns. We have seen df dot head its first 5 records. We want waiting. Let us say I want to see only. I say df dot head of 2. If I want to say, if I want to see first 12 records, what is the command that I write? Can you quickly punch in the chat? If I want to see first 12 records, this is to display first 2. If I want to see first 12, excellent, perfect. Also, let me tell you one thing. Creating this object name as df is never compulsory, and this is what we gave. I could even write here as abc, but everywhere ahead I have to use it as abc dot head, abc dot info and all that. Okay, whatever object we create over here, that we are going to use. Df we was popularly used, either they say data set or df or data frame. Okay? Anything other than keywords you can use. So you are able to see first 12 records with this, right? Yeah. See, this simply guarantees our data is loaded properly. If it was not, if I had just like, I'll give you an example. We'll do it like this. I'll just remove the separator. Okay, a minute. And I'll try to load the data. The data is loaded, but the columns were not separated properly. Only when I do little bit of this exploratory analysis, I see first few of my records. Then I come to know, okay, something is going wrong. See the difference in the output. Okay. So that is why we do this little bit of reading earlier. So I'm putting the separator again, doing it again. Don't try it, was just to show you. If you have tried, fair enough. You need to execute some of the this cell again. It's not compulsory to do this. I'm just doing. Yeah. So now we are ensured that we have the correct data. Now our target attribute is fraud, because why? We will be given a new record which will have all these values but will not have fraud value. I'll show you this also. We have this in our test file. I'll just open our test file in Notepad. Okay. You have all the columns till line item void position. See the difference between train and test. In train you have this attribute as fraud. This is in classification. What we are attempting to do is classification. With the data which is available, where the fraud is mentioned to us, where the fraud is given to us, you see these values, last values, 0, 1, all these are the fraud values. Okay. So there, here the fraud is 1, here the fraud is 1. Okay. So this data is given to us for training. We train our model and it will be able to predict the data for this where the fraud value is not given. The data, other things are in the same format. So there is a new customer who is scanning his products. At that time, these values will be generated. So that time itself, we will be able to predict whether the person is fraudulent or not. That is what is the task of classification. Given the data, which is already a tag data matlab you have this attribute, the target attribute, that is in this case it is fraud. Okay, the target attribute is already given to you. Using that tag data, you can predict for new data which is not a tag data. Okay, so coming back to this, so this is our train file. Can quickly type in the text, what is this fraud, what attribute is this? And does anyone remembers what I just said? Fraud is a target attribute. Excellent. Yeah, it's target attribute. You're right, Ajay. Tapan Kumar, you're right. So it's a target attribute. And what is the task that we are doing? We are doing classification. Okay. So this task, given a target attribute in a data set, and there will be another data which is without target attribute, that is called as classification. There are different data mining tasks. One of the task is classification. More or less, whatever you do, you will be either doing classification, you will be doing clustering, or you will be doing association rule mining. Let me quickly jot it down to you over here, because I say this is for beginners. If you had little bit of exposure, you know this. But if this is first time, these are the typical tasks which you do in clustering. The applications will change it slightly, and frequent pattern mining. there are more variations, but these three are very popular tasks in data mining. Classification, okay, it is putting me like this. I'll have to. Popular tasks. Classification, clustering, and frequent pattern mining are the popular tasks. We are not doing this, but just that you should know I'm writing it here. Most of the problems which I have observed and which even data scientists say lie in classification. That is why we have taken a case study which is related to classification. Okay, moving ahead. So with this fraud is our target attribute. Now we should see in our data set how many attributes we have with fraud as zero and how many attributes or how many records we have with fraud as zero and how many attributes we or how many records we have with fraud as one. So out of that, what was their total number? 18 something something. Yeah, 1879. So out of total 1879 records, we have 1775 as non-fraudulent transactions and we have 104 as fraudulent transactions. Okay. If you total out this, it is going to come to this number 1879. I'm saying 79 because it starts with 0. Okay. The index here starts with 0. Yeah. So we have seen this is also called as unbalanced data set. That is one type of class that is zero is much larger as compared to another type of class. And practical problems will have like you can't expect every other transaction to be a fraud transaction. Practical problems will be like this. Okay. Also, you need to know this because when you're doing data sampling and all, when you know that these types of things are there, you will take care in sampling that both the classes are sampled. This might sound a little bit different, don't worry if you've not understood this part, but you should know if there are equal, like typically in sentiment analysis, case study and all, you will see there are equal records, morely similar. But in some case studies, it will be different. Okay? Yeah, we're coming to the next part that is DF dot describe. This is a little bit of statistical analysis. We need not understand everything of this. Every attribute which is there, you're getting a statistical analysis done. Sometimes you have to specify this or you need to understand this for what type of data is there. So if I say column trust, this is the count. The mean value of trust is 3.4. So the trust value ranges minimum from 1 to maximum of 6. Okay. And the mean value is 3.4. So there is a good distribution of trust. Then there is STD, that is standard deviation. So how much does the value varies from the average? So 3.4 is the average value. But how much there is exact formula and all for this, but I'll not go into those statistics. But how much is the deviation of other values from this mean value? So that is 1.7. Okay. Okay, then if I put all this value, I sort all this value from 1 to 6. Okay, 25% of the values are having. So when if I've sorted all the values one like one after the other, the first 25% value, the last part is 2. The 50%, which is also called as median, is 3, and the 75%. So there are 75% values which are having value 5 or below. So I can't say sorry 1. I can't say here as 2, but 25% values have got values as 2 or below. 50% have got it as 3 or below, 75% have got it as 5 or below, and maximum value is 6. Okay, these type of things will be necessary when if it is a production kind of industry where these kinds of value make more importance. I'll take an example afterwards. Okay, the next one. Okay, till this, but will till here, till describe any doubt, till statistical analysis, any doubt? Punch me a yes if you have understood till here. Okay, there's no doubt. No, ma'am, that means there's no doubt. Punch me a yes if you have understood till here. Okay, okay, sorry, I'm putting the question. Okay, fine. Great. Were you able to execute also, right? How group by works. Okay, good. You're specifying your data frame, DF. Okay. You want a group by on this column and you want it on count. This dot mechanism is where you go on doing it ahead. So df dot frame पे आपको क्या करना है? You want to do a group by. Okay. Then group by you've done on what you want. You want it on count. You want this column name dot count. So this is how the group by is working. Yutik, hope I've answered you. Okay, I'll come back. It may take some time for him to punch a yes. Okay. Oh yeah, Yutik has got it. Now coming to the next one, where we try to see the information about our frame, data frame. So we just execute this df.info. Okay. You get the entire information about the data frame. So you see the class, it is a data frame class. You see the range of the index, so that are these many rows are there. That is 0 to 1878. Then you have total 10 columns that is specified, and then you have detailing on each column. Okay, so we have already seen what each column means, but when you see this number, that like there are total these many entries and non-null entries are these many. Okay, and also you see that it is count is not null, so there are no nulls in this data set. This is a very clean data set. You will not always get a data set like this. Sometimes there will be nulls. We'll also try to do that in a case study, in a separate case study where there are nulls. And that time you will use, or I'll share you a notebook which has a data set and which has nulls like this. And you will have to handle those nulls. Either you have to remove that null values or you have to replace that null values with something. You also see the data type of each of them. So trust level is integer, total scan time is taken as integer, grand total is taken as float because it's point something will be there. 54.3 was the $54.3 or something like that. And other data types. Now in this you are not having any data type as object. Okay, that is categorical. So if I had at least one column which says income as low, medium, high, so this type is a object data type. I'll try to take one case study of this also tomorrow when we begin, where we'll have a object data type. Now next thing is you check if there is any null. So although you've come to know over here, but if you don't want to do this entire data information and you want to just simply want to check if there is any column which is empty or null. Okay, so that is df dot isNull. IsNull is the function, and if you simply do isNull, it will show you by every column. I'll just show you how it works. Okay, I'm just removing this part as dot sum. It is showing me, okay, this value is not is null is false, is null is false, is null is false. Likewise, it is showing me for everything. Now more than that, I want a very simple aggregate value as for every column. Okay, so that is null is 0. That means there are no null values in any of the column. Okay. The next cell, just execute and see what do you get it. There's a bell ring. Just excuse me for a minute. One of the important statistical analysis that people do. Still now also we are not purely into mining. We are doing exploratory data analysis. So one of the statistical analysis what people do is try to find correlation with our predictive feature, which is also called as target attribute, that is fraud. Okay. So each of these is our predictive feature. Based on trust level, are we able to identify whether there's a fraud? Based on total scan times, are we able to identify there is a fraud? So you try to find out what is the correlation between this trust level and fraud, between grand total and fraud. Okay. So that is you have this is the advantage of using Python. You will get lot of functions predefined. You just use this function df dot or. Okay, and you want a core with this attribute as fraud. I might take it with another attribute. We can change it, like we can find out correlation of every attribute with trust level. Okay, so I'll get all the attributes over here. Every see trust level with itself is going to be 1. I mean, if trust level changes, trust level changes. This like symboling, but with every other attribute of trust level. So you see trust level in line item voids has a negative impact. What does that mean? If trust level is high, line item voids are low. If trust level is low, line item voids are high. What is line item voids? We had defined it over here in the very beginning. The definition was given to us. Number of void scans. Okay. So again, I'm moving back to our target attribute only. Now observing this, but again, see, although we say there is some relation, but a good correlation exists if that value is greater than 0.7, like either plus or minus, doesn't make a difference. The highest possible correlation is 1. Every attribute with itself is 1. Okay. If it was like exactly every time there is a every time trust level is, say, let us say, some value changes by 1, the fraud changes by 1. This changes, the fraud value changes. So if we had something like this, then the correlation would have been 1. But right now, if we can observe that there is no single attribute which we can say is very strongly correlated to the fraud one, to the fraud attribute. Okay, and that is where you need data mining. Some problems could be solved by statistical analysis. If there was a very strong correlation, you directly write a if then else sentence in your code. If this value is greater than this, then this is the problem. So we can also see this correlation. Okay, any doubt with correlation? No, fine. Okay, fine. Quite a good number says no. So we move ahead. Moving ahead, we want to see how every attribute is related to every other attribute. Now this can be done with the help of heat map of correlation matrix. What you have seen here was not a correlation matrix. It was only correlation of fraud attribute with everything else. But you can see correlation of every attribute with every other attribute. Okay, so that is by heat map. And for this, which you have a library called as a Seaborn library. Up till now, we have used one more library. Before this, we have used one more library. Can you quickly write in chat which was that library before Seaborn? Excellent, excellent. Good. Ajay, Ananda Krishnan, Shubham, Sushant. Excellent, excellent. Very good. So we had used pandas library, which was for making our data frame, or it is about for playing with data. We have the Seaborn library and one more matplotlib library for visualizations. Matplotlib is the base Seaborn is made using matplotlib. Okay. So here you are making a Seaborn object as SB. Okay, Seaborn object, you're creating a heat map, you're using a heat map function. What are the parameters? DF, that is data frame dot correlation. So this gives you all the correlations which are there in your data frame. This is the color map. CMap is the color map that you want to use. You can try with rainbow, but not on this. I'll show you on another graph where we use it. And we want the annotations to be listed. We want the annotations should be given. So we say annot is equal to true. And you can execute and see. Okay. So this will give you a correlation ka heat map. These values are not very clearly visible. So what we are doing is we are taking also matplotlib. This is the third library that we are studying now. Okay, so first was pandas, then is Seaborn, the third one is matplotlib. This is for creating plots and all. And from that matplotlib, we are extracting this subpart function that is called as pyplot, and we are creating an object of it as plt. Now plt, we are saying plt.figure. We are using because we want a larger size. This was not clearly visible, so we are making it of a larger size, that is 12,9. You can try varying these parameters, play around and see. And then the rest three lines are same. Rest three lines are exactly the same. You can execute this and check it out. This is a heat map. Now there are different CMap options available. You can search, you will get this. That is yellow. YIGNBU is yellow, green, blue. There is one CMap available, option available, which I've kept it over here. You can simply try it down. That is rainbow. So you will see the color map in a different color. The rainbow colors are used. Okay. Before coming to understanding and explanation of this, are you able to execute till here, changing it to rainbow? Do it and punch me. Ashish, thank you so much. Okay, Sushant is able to complete changing this to rainbow. What I simply asked is to execute this correlation wala cell as it is. You see this little bit cluttered output. Then you come over here, execute it again, a little bit clean output. But then the color code which was there, the CMap was yellow, green, blue. So now we are changing it to rainbow. And you will see it in a different format, red, green, blue, yellow, orange, all the colors of rainbow. Just let me know if you're done. Yes, good. Excellent, excellent. Okay, coming back to our notebook now. Now just see our output, okay? All the attributes listed over here, all the attributes listed over here. And see something dark red and see it as 1. Can anyone tell me what are these ones? Self-correlation. Excellent, Yoti. Yes, perfect. So we have this once as a self-correlation. What does that mean? See, what is this column? Trust level. What is this column? Trust level. Trust level with itself. So this diagonal elements as good as you can ignore. These are always going to be 1. Okay. Try to understand what is this value, 0.025. Total scan time in seconds, how much is it correlated to trust level? So it is 0.025. Grand total, how much is it correlated to this? And why it is called as heat map, you know, the more the correlation, the intensity goes on getting darker. So what you can see over here, see, just observe over here. Okay. 0 is somewhere at this range, and as it is getting 0.0, 0.2, 0.4, 0.6, 0.8. So orange, red is the highest one. The next highest correlation is 0.6 to 0.8 is in orange color. Okay. So you see this as 0.69. Okay, now this is a strong correlation. Like they say 0.7 typically is a strong correlation. We can assume 6.9 as approximately almost equal to 7. So scanned item per second and value per second is almost correlated. Okay? Value per second and scanned line items per second. So that means if the value of the item is changing, the time to scan it also changes. That's probably because if it would be a heavier item or something like that. But this is also an interesting correlation. Why do typically people do correlation analysis is in our example, we just have 10 attributes. Even if we go ahead with 10 attributes, doesn't make a difference. But if you give a huge amount of attributes, there are databases which are having thousands of attributes, lakhs of records, which are very large in size. I we have worked on a project earlier, which is flight delay prediction, had some thousand attributes and had 65 lakh records. To load that data set itself was a big challenge for us. Okay. So yes, you see this heat map, and if there are some attributes which are strongly correlated, they can be ignored. They might not be considered. So you can drop an attribute from a data frame. Okay, df.drop, and these attributes will not be considered. So that is why you try to understand the correlation. Why? Because see, if there are some attributes which are strongly related, taking both the attributes in the processing might give similar results. Even if we ignore one, might be the results are similar. So you have to experiment over there. If the results are similar, you can simply go dropping the attributes. Okay, this is what we have done till today. Our data is quite clean. There are no null values. There are no missing values. So we are not having anything of cleaning and pre-processing right now. But when you do a practical work, this cleaning and pre-processing is a whole 3-day workshop. I have 2 to 3 papers which are there with me. Uh, if there are some doubts, you can ask in the chat. Over here, what columns can we drop? Default, I suggest you need not drop anything because there's nothing more than zero point 0.7. Okay, but if there was something more than correlated, like if there was some correlation which was having zero point 0.9 and it was not with fraud, if it is with fraud, that means that is very important attribute. If it is strongly correlated with fraud, it is a very important attribute. You should never drop it. But if there was some attribute, some two attributes which are having correlation as, let us say this was zero point 0.9, okay, that is value per second and scanned line items per second. I would have dropped one of them. And even in this data set is very small, so it doesn't make a difference even if we take everything. But otherwise, data sets are large, then you can drop some attributes. Like we are going to drop when we do that sentiment classification case study. Okay, as planned, I've completed at 12:55. Any doubts till now? In the time, I'll try to show you if I'm having right now. I'll just see if I'm having right now. Excellent example of pre-processing. Yeah, this was a poker data set which I had worked along with my students. It was a very popular paper in Indore conference. So they had a data set which is I don't know this game poker, but they had a data set something of this format. So they were giving us 5 cards ke values and what was that card? What was that class of the card? So they say that if all aces are there or spade, then it is the highest level. So likewise, they have given this 11 columns specifying 1 is the deck and 10 is the value of the card. Okay, 10, 11, 12, 13 and 1. Okay. Now in this, if you process it just like this, now this 1 and 10 were taken as separate values, which makes no sense. The first part of our pre-processing was suit into 100 plus card value. The suit is 1 into 100, which gave us 100 plus 10. So this is 110. Why? Because why did we do this? We want queen to have a larger value than 10 of spades. Okay. Now we had to do this one modification over here. If we go just like this, ace was getting a lower value. So we had to again pre-process it and give it a larger value. So instead of 1 for ace, we gave it value as 14. We pre-processed it and changed its value to, we changed its value to 14. So it was 14. Yeah, and we also did a slight changing. It is card value into 100 plus suit. See, observe here. And observe the difference over here. Why? Because the suits also had different weightage. They said spade has more weightage as compared to diamonds or hearts. So that is why this type of pre-processing was done. There is one nice example which is on text pre-processing. I doubt whether. Okay, I'll show you that example in tomorrow's session. With an example, it is there. Rather than going into a lot of technicalities, I'll show you it over there tomorrow. Yeah. Any doubts? Correct with itself. I didn't get. There are a lot of EDA techniques. I've listed out a few. You can explore more. There are a lot of EDA techniques. Yes. A good source to learn a lot of these things is have a registration of Medium Daily Digest. Okay, Medium Daily Digest, where you get to know a lot of things based on your interest. So whatever you read or whatever you search, based on that, they will suggest you further things to be read. Okay, tell me if any other doubts are there. Okay, fine. I'm done from my side. This notebook we will continue in tomorrow's lab. Today we have done only up till EDA. Tomorrow we'll be doing actual mining algorithms. Okay, where I'll try to explain at least a Bayesian or a decision tree in the beginning, and then we go to hands-on. So tomorrow it will be more of hands-on, more time on hands-on. First 15 to 20 minutes we'll spend on theory, and it will be a little bit fast. So today I took it slowly because I know you might be doing it first time, might be using Colab first time. So that is why I took it a bit slowly. Also, if you are having Anaconda as a software installed with you, this is one of the popular ways or one of the nice ways of doing it. I myself like working on this type of platform. I will also show you the reason why. I can quickly set a directory over here, which is the working directory where I have my data set. So this folder, whatever is your folder where you are, which is your working directory, you selected, you see it over here. You'll see all the files which are there in this folder. I'll quickly open a Python file which is over here. Let us say, okay. Now the beauty of this is because my generation typically is that C generation. We started our careers with C. Okay. So I am executing. Sorry, it executed the entire code. I should not. I can select and I can execute part by part. So this is executing only the selection. Now probably it is going to take time because I executed. Yeah, I stopped. I gave a keyboard interrupt. And I'll clean the environment one minute.
Hello, ma'am. Sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt you, but the screen you are not sharing.
Oh, sorry. I'll share the screen. Yeah, so what I was telling you, this is the Anaconda environment. Okay, Anaconda, if you download and install, you can download Anaconda, but it needs a little bit of, at least a 8 GB system or a 4 GB system. Otherwise, the system becomes very slow. Why I preferred Colab? Because this entire loading of execution and all is taken care by the Google servers. So they provide you your runtime environment. You can change your runtime environment by to TPU or GPU. You have options over here. Okay. But if you're doing it like instead of every time uploading to the Colab notebook, I prefer doing this Anaconda environment. And in this Anaconda environment, I select I like this Jupyter wala part. Sorry, Spider. Jupyter is also one of the options available, but I like this Spider. So when you click on Spider, you get this interface, this type of interface. I have opened one Python file .py. Okay, the same data mining cup wala hi hai. So you can select and you can execute the part of the code that you want. So it has got executed in the console. Now I want to execute this line. So I'm executing this line. And see right now, see the variables. So right now I just have this input file, train like your CSV, an input file, and a string one. So if I just open and see, I can simultaneously see what is there in each thing. So this is having just one value, train.csv. Okay. Then I read my input file. So I could have directly specified train.csv over here. Okay. I could have directly specified train.csv over here, but I've just created one variable. Now here we are loading the file. Okay. And now we can see a data frame created which is having 1879 records with 10 columns. And I can actually open it here and I can see the columns. This is what I like about Spider. So you can see, you can monitor every variable that exists. So the moment I create something new, that will be available over here as a parameter. Yeah, thank you so much. That is all from my side. Now, what environment to use is your choice. And thank you for reminding me that the screen was not shared.
Thank you so much, ma'am. The way you made us understand the concepts was incredible. Now I know that our participants are itching to get their queries solved. So don't hold back. Freely ask your doubts regarding the session by typing the questions in the chat section, and ma'am shall have them answered.
Yeah, surely,
The
sure.
first question
They have asked.
is
Yeah.
yeah. The first question is from Ashish Jacob. What is rule for data analysis?
That's the beauty of data. There is no standard rule, let me tell you. There is no standard rule. So it depends. Every problem is different. And see, I'll tell you with my personal example. I teach database in odd semester, I teach data mining in even semester. When I have a database to be taught, for last 10 years, it's the same queries, okay? But every time I teach data mining, there is something new has come in last 6 months. It takes it is continuously progressing. There is no specific follow this or that. Okay, just give me 1 second again. There is a bell ring.
Sure, ma'am.
Yes, please tell me.
The second question is from Akhil Anand. How is data mining different from data science?
Yeah, there are very thin lines defined between each of this, that is data mining, data science, machine learning, KDD. A lot of these terms we sometimes tend to use interchanging to each other. I'll go back quickly to the diagram which I had shared with you. In proper definition terms, when you have this data available with you and you try to identify intelligent insights using the algorithms which are existing, okay, like decision tree, like k-means algorithm, or like your card, a lot of algorithms which are there. It's data mining. This is a standard process. Data science attempts to go slightly beyond this. It is a combination of statistics, this data mining, and intelligent thinking, where you will not go by standard rules, but you will do modify. Just I gave you an example of sentiment analysis. I removed the word not. I didn't remove the word not because not was very important for me identifying the sentence and sentiment. If I simply remove this not as a stop word, it is going to change the entire sentiment of a sentence. It may, right? So that is why data science has little more insights. It will involve data mining, but it will also involve statistics. It will also involve customized pre and post processing.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Kranti Ghag ma'am, for patiently solving our doubts. Also, thank you, dear participants, for your active participation. I hope all your doubts are cleared. A quick reminder for all the participants, do not forget to fill the feedback form. Your e-certificates shall be mailed to you only if you fill the form. There is also a short quiz present in the feedback form. Attempt that as well. Thank you. Well, this isn't the end. We are done with day 1, but still there are 2 more days to go. 2 more days of learning something new from Dr. Kranti Ghag ma'am. The invitations for day 2 shall be sent to all the participants. Now requesting everyone to put on their camera for a screenshot. Ritika, please acknowledge if done.
Yeah, I'm